Good evening and welcome to your therapy consultation. My name is Dr. Late Night. It's very good to meet you. So today I'm just going to be asking you some personal questions. Because this is your initial consultation, I just need to figure out sort of where you are mentally. And we're also going to figure out what it is that you are looking for out of therapy and if I might be the right match for you as a therapist. Okay? Perfect. So I'm just going to get some basic information from you and then we will get into our session. Okay? First of all, can you just give me your full name, please? Okay. And your date of birth? Okay. Gotcha. And what is your home address? Okay, perfect. And are you taking any medications currently? Okay. Alright, that's all of your basic info out of the way. So let's get into the more probing personal questions. If you feel uncomfortable at any point or you need to take a break, that is absolutely fine, and just let me know, okay? Alright. So, what brings you into therapy today? Some common reasons are people dealing with anxiety, depression, family issues, but there are all sorts of reasons. So, what brings you in today? Okay, gotcha. I understand. Okay, that's perfect, and I'll have you elaborate more as we go on, but that's perfect. Next up, have you ever seen a therapist or a psychiatrist before? Okay. How long ago was that? Okay, gotcha. Next, does coming into today's session bring up any feelings for you? Are you nervous? Are you excited? A little bit of both? Okay. Well, I promise you that this is a safe space. We have patient confidentiality, so it would be illegal for me to disclose any of your personal information to anyone else, as long as you are not a threat to yourself or others, which I do not anticipate. Okay, perfect. So this is a very safe space. No worries there. Okay. Now, where do you live right now? Do you live in a house, an apartment? Okay, gotcha. And do you live with anyone at the moment? Okay. Gotcha. Do you have any pets? Okay. And do you have a service dog, a service animal, or an emotional support animal? Alright. Okay. Are you a student or do you go to work? What do you do? Okay. And tell me a little bit more about that. Do you enjoy what you do? Okay. Is it a source of anxiety for you at all? Okay. Now, this might be a little difficult, but I want you to try to rate your mental health on a scale from 1 to 100. 100 being you don't have a care in the world, you're absolutely fine. 1 being there are some serious things going on and you're not experiencing a whole lot of joy in your life. Okay. All right. And how long have you felt that way? Okay. Gotcha. Now, in just a few words, can you sum up what your emotional condition is right now? All right. Anything else? Okay. And how would you rate your physical health on a scale from 1 to 100? Again, 100 being no issues there, perfectly happy and healthy. 1 being there are some things that we really need to work on and you don't feel healthy at all. Okay. Okay. So next up, I just want you to walk me through a day in your life. I'm going to be asking you some questions about what the average day might look like for you, okay? So, first of all, when do you wake up in the morning? Just on average. Okay. And when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that you do? Gotcha. And when you wake up, do you normally feel energized or do you feel kind of sluggish? Okay. Yes, just on the average day. Okay. Do you drink caffeine regularly in the mornings, like coffee or an energy drink? Alright. And do you drink caffeine throughout the day? Okay. You're doing great. Just answer these questions as honestly as possible. I am not judging you. Nobody is perfect. Everyone has their own struggles, and that's what I'm here for, is to help you work through your struggles, okay? So next up, when do you go to work and about how long do you work or go to school? Okay. Okay, perfect. Moving on here. So, as we continue on through your day, your average day, do you typically eat all 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Okay. And is there one meal where you typically have a larger amount of food? You're like your biggest meal of the day, you would say. Okay. Gotcha. Do you exercise daily? And if so, when do you typically exercise? And then once you're done with all of your responsibilities, your chores, and work for the day, what do you like to do in your free time? Okay. And let's get to the evening portion of your day, the nighttime. When do you typically go to bed? Okay. And finally, on your average day, do you have a lot of trouble sleeping? Okay. About how long does it take you to get to sleep at night? And do you use anything to help you sleep, like taking melatonin, watching relaxing videos like ASMR? Okay. Well, thank you for that walkthrough of your typical day. Now I have some more questions for you, if that's okay. Okay. What would you say are your best 3 qualities? What are the 3 things that you value most about yourself as a person? Okay. Okay. One more. Good. Hopefully there are more than 3 things you can think of, but these are just sort of to figure out your values and also your self-perception. Okay. Now, do you have any phobias at all? Yeah, that would be an irrational fear. Okay. Gotcha. Next up, do you experience panic attacks or anxiety attacks? Okay. Gotcha. Yes, we all have anxiety sometimes, some more so than others, but just so you know, after we finish going through the questions, I have a handful of techniques for reducing anxiety and promoting good sleep that we'll go through together, okay? Okay, perfect. So next up, would you consider yourself to be an introvert or an extrovert? An introvert meaning somebody who prefers to be alone, who maybe spends a lot of time inside. Perhaps you like to read books, keep to yourself. An extrovert is somebody who is very outgoing, who likes to spend time around people and go out in their free time. Okay. Some people also consider themselves to be, I believe it's called an ambivert, which is sort of in the middle, meaning maybe you fluctuate between the two, or you have qualities of both. Okay. Perfect. Now, would you consider yourself to be a religious or a spiritual person? Okay. Can you just go into your beliefs a little bit more in depth for me? Okay. And were you raised with those beliefs, with those values, or did you come to that on your own? Okay. Gotcha. Next up, what would you say brings you the most joy in your life? can be people, it can be animals, it could be a hobby. Okay. Sure, you can list multiple things if you want. Okay. Good. Now, before we go more in depth with our future sessions, I just need to know if there is anything in your past that you're uncomfortable talking about. Okay. That's fine. Because I'm only here to help. I'm not here to probe you on things that you don't want to talk about. Okay. Okay, very good. I have just a couple more questions, and then we will get into the stress and anxiety relieving techniques, okay? Perfect. So, when you get angry or upset, what do you do to process those feelings? Okay. Okay, perfect. Next up, what forms of self-care, if any, do you use to keep your mental health in check? Okay. Gotcha. Beautiful. Now that leads us into our anxiety relieving techniques. I just have some tips and tricks for you to take home, and my homework for you is to practice whichever of these, either that you haven't tried or that sound like they might help you. Okay? So, first of all, is a technique called box breathing. So, what we do for this is breathe in for 4 seconds, and I'll just have you do this with me once. Okay, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and hold that, 2, 3, and 4. Good. And what you do is just repeat this process. And what it does is it actually tells the body that it is time to calm down. There's a physiological response. Okay? So again, you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and exhale. And hold the breath out for 4, excuse me. Okay. Alright, our next technique is stretching or yoga. You don't have to do a yoga practice. You can just do some basic stretches, but if you stretch out your neck, muscles in your arms, maybe roll your shoulders, stretching out your chest can help with anxiety because we hold a lot of anxious energy in the chest and it can get very tight and uncomfortable. So I would recommend even looking up on YouTube, just a basic stretching routine, maybe even some in-bed yoga. Good. And for me personally, that has helped me to get a much better night's sleep. And it's also very good for your muscles. Okay? But if that doesn't strike your fancy, or if you want something else, we also have the 5-4-3-2-1 method. This helps if we are in a moment of panic or we do not feel grounded in our bodies. So what you do is you list off to yourself 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And this just brings us back into our bodies, grounding us in reality, grounding us, telling us that it's okay. Sometimes when we're anxious, we feel floaty, almost like we're having an out-of-body experience. It can be very uncomfortable, so this is a great grounding technique. Okay. Next up, we have the tense and release method is what I like to call it. This is particularly good if you're laying down, about to go to bed. Whether you feel anxious or not, this can be a very relaxing practice to do. So what it is you're going to go through your body. You can start with your toes and work your way up. And you're going to first clench your toes. Just clench those muscles as hard as you can without hurting yourself for maybe about 5 seconds, or you can do it for longer if that feels good, and then relax them. Then you're going to go to the next muscle, so like your calves. Tense that for about 5 seconds, tense both of them, and then release. And you're going to do this with each muscle in your body, one at a time. And what it does is it just relaxes and grounds the body, and oftentimes you'll find that it will put you right to sleep. Okay? Next up, we just have a few more. So you've probably heard this before, and I won't belabor the point, but going out in nature, getting that sunlight, that good vitamin D is one of the most important things for a healthy, happy human being. And okay, even if you don't get out in nature a whole lot, this is perhaps my number 1 tip for you, okay? If you are feeling depressed, anxious, especially in the morning, what I want you to do, first thing when you wake up, don't look at your phone, don't look at any devices, but go outside for 20 minutes. Maybe you take your coffee out there, maybe you have your breakfast outside, but just 20 minutes of getting some vitamin D, going outside. What that does is that kind of sets you on the right pace for the day. And actually, when you look at your phone first thing in the morning, it sort of burns out your dopamine receptors, and you can have a difficult time enjoying the rest of your day and being productive. So just start your day on the right foot, get outside, get some fresh air. I promise you, you will feel better. Okay? And my last tip is journaling at the end of the day. I know this is not for everyone. Not everyone feels motivated to journal. But even if you just write the date and a number on the scale from 1 to 10 of how you would rate your day, and maybe write a few words about what you did that day. Or if you want to have a more in-depth practice of this, it is really helpful for retention. You will remember things more easily. You'll remember things. And it also just helps you to process some of those difficult emotions. Say you had a bad day. It'll help you to process that if you write it out on paper. Okay? So I won't harp on you anymore. Those are all of my tips and tricks for reducing anxiety. And I thought that would be a good way to conclude our session. Okay? So my homework to you, again, is to pick even just one of these things and to start implementing it into your daily routine, or even just when you start to feel anxious. Okay? Well, to conclude our session now, I just have a question for you. Do you have any questions for me about therapy as a practice, or what to expect from our sessions together? Okay, perfect. Well, I really appreciate you coming in today. I think that this will be very helpful for you. I hope that it will be. And I will see you again at our next session, okay? You have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and take care. Good night.